Right now, in this stage, the first time they've ever performed here, one of Canada's most successful and influential punk rock bands of all time. And they are from right here in Victoria. I'm talking about the legendary NoMeansNo. Which is exactly what the producers of this show say every time I ask when the Smugglers are going to get into the Hall of Fame. To help present this award, I would like to invite a couple of long-time supporters of NoMeansNo to join me on stage. They're publicists from Toronto, Melanie Kay, and the fantastic musician in his own right. He's been a crew member and a lifetime supporter of NoMeansNo, Ford Peer. Come on out.
Yeah, Ford's here? Yeah.
Just look at this. Woo! You know, Melanie, I don't think that I exaggerate one whit when I say that if it wasn't for NoMeansNo, I wouldn't be standing here right now.
Well, yes, right, Ford. They're here to be given an award.
Yeah, that's right. So why would I be here otherwise?
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mel and I are very proud to be here, to be asked to help induct our friends, NoMeansNo, to the WCMA Hall of Fame. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
Super.
How are you feeling? No, honestly, we're very, very honored to be here tonight. And this award is more than just something that has been given to the band. It's given to our whole community. Because what it represents is that a band can be DIY to the true sense of that meaning. And in terms of defining success, they define it in the way that is true to their hearts and true to our hearts.
You can travel all around the world on your own dime and do nothing other than what you want to do. And if that has intrinsic value and if it's truthful, then all you have to do is what you want to, and people are blown away everywhere you go.
Across the world, not just in Canada, but across the world, this band is so respected, and our personal experience is watching them, the brothers in particular, staring at each other, giving each other those death stares that only brothers can do, but at the same time loving it at every moment.
I'd like to know more, and I think that probably there's a video that can...
Well, tell us more.
A factor. No means no. Most bands with a 3-decade career would have a press release that spans as many reams of paper as War and Peace. However, NoMeansNo has built their career on bending the rules, crossing the lines, and putting their sense of humor forward in equal measure with their political sensibilities. They don't do bios or photos or videos, yet they've sold hundreds of thousands of records around the world.
We kind of make our living by playing music, but we're really not in the music business. Sort of gifted amateurs. Special dispensation for Canadians. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we managed to do this for a lot of years without ever really getting into the big schmoll of music business.
Rob and John started recording bass and drums in their parents' basement and playing with a couple local bands, but after seeing DOA at the University of Victoria in 1979, they were inspired to explore new directions.
NoMeansNo is an anti-rape slogan, which I saw on a wall somewhere in Vancouver. However, it's also in English what your mother tells you when no means no. And don't ever do that again. And of course you do it since she's got birth. So it's that double meaning. very politically correct story, and quite silly. And it also looks good. It's got the note here and the note there. It means it's a good marketing tool.
NoMeansNo first self-produced 4-track release was a Savage called Look, Here Comes the Wormies. Recorded in 1980, there were only 500 copies printed. The single featured Rob Wright on bass, vocals, and guitar, and John Wright on drums, keyboards, and vocals. After 2 EPs, NoMeansNo released their first full-length album, Mama, in 1982. Rob and John then convinced Andy Kerr to join them. The chemistry worked, and the first album featuring Andy on guitar, You Kill Me, was released in 1985. 2 more albums followed, Sex Mad in 1986, and The Day Everything Became Isolated and Destroyed in 1988.
That's not accurate.
No, it's not at all.
NoMeansNo traveled to Europe for their first tour, and their song Dad from Sex Mad received substantial college radio airplay. The release of Wrong in 1989 was a turning point. Considered by many as a pinnacle album by NoMeansNo, both CD and vinyl continue to sell steadily online and in collector shops. After 8 years of continuous touring, Andy Kerr moved to Amsterdam, leaving Rob and John as a 2-piece band again, playing all the instruments on their next release, Why Did They Call Me Mr. Happy? When Tom Holliston played with the band at Alternative Tentacle's 100th release party in San Francisco, NoMeansNo found their new guitars. 1994 saw NoMeansNo touring with a second drummer, and it also marked the beginning of their second band project, the Hanson Brothers.
It's poking fun. It's poking fun at hockey, poking fun at punk rock. It's just making fun of whatever we have to be thinking about at the time.
Yeah, and in doing it in as dumb of a fashion as we can, you know, so.
Extensively in Europe and North America throughout the 1990s and released their album One in 2000. Then, in 2006, a new full-length album was released. All Roads Lead to Osborne was an homage to the country where NoMeansNo had found their biggest audience.
We are 3 Canadian boys who have grown up to be 3 Canadian old men. And during the course of those 30 years, we played some punk rock. In a little different style than a lot of punk rock. It's always loud and aggressive.
I know.
And rock. And our intent has always been to be millionaires. We're still not there yet, but we're trying.
NoMeansNo continues to tour when they want, do what they want, and say whatever comes up, changing the rules, but still maintaining an incredible worldwide fan base. The Western Canadian Music Alliance is pleased to welcome NoMeansNo into the Western Canadian Music Hall of Fame.
What a saga! Ladies and gentlemen, it's our privilege
And our honor.
to invite our friends,
Rob Wright
John Wright,
and Tom Holliston.
NoMeansNo! Well, thank you very much.
Woo!
I guess I should thank everyone. I'm pleased to be here. I've never played this. This was always too legit for us, the McPherson Theater. And I have 2 minds about the Hall of Fame. You know, Hall of Fame is, being inducted is always a good answer to the question, what do we do with the body? Well, we're not dead yet, but I wouldn't mind being stuffed, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'd like to thank all the people who helped me, but for the life of me, I can't remember any of their names. So
I do.
He does.
I
Okay.
remember them because I wrote them down. My God.
Okay, I would like, thank you very much. Thank the Academy. Thank the Western Canadian Music Hall of Fame for inviting us here tonight. It was at Breakout West. It was a sincere invitation, and we were touched, and we really appreciate the fact that you work very hard, you do a lot of stuff, and you're really doing it for the fun and the connection you have with the audience and the fans, but it's nice with your peers and people look back and say thank you very much for what you did, and we thank all of you. And as NoMeansNo, people talk about DIY, and yeah, Victoria was the perfect example of DIY. There's so many bands, so many musicians from this town, especially from our day, the old school. Well, I don't even want to say what year there was, but you all know, and you had to do it yourself, because there was no one else who's going to do it but you. And this town wasn't being on an island and isolated. Everyone made it happen, and we didn't do it on our own. And one thing that happens when you're a band is you're playing up here and you're doing everything you can do, but if the people out there can't hear it, then it doesn't mean much. So Craig Boucher, our longtime sound man and brother-in-arms, slave himself, we have to thank for his many years of making us sound killer out front, for the front of the house. And early on we met Laurie Mercer, who took us, well, he just, again, just into the music, into the scene, and managed us for close to 20 years. And without that kind of support, it's very difficult for a band. And as I was saying here in Victoria, the scene supported itself, and there were certain people in this town, namely Gary Brainless and the Rat's Nest, and that's where it was happening. That's where music was happening, at least in our milieu. We practiced in his basement, and so many shows, and so many things, so much excitement and friendship was generated in that household. So a big thanks to Gary. And also, we have to mention Scott Henderson and the See Your Shit Studios. If anybody supported local music in Victoria, it certainly was Scott Henderson. I don't know anyhow, thousands of bands managed to record their album in that studio. So a big thanks to Scott. And but we had to travel abroad. I mean, Victoria, you can only stay here for so long, and if you want to get out there and make a mark, then we found ourselves down in San Francisco, and we have to thank Jello Biafra and Alternative Tentacles, who gave us the foundation to continue and to do what we were enjoying. And also, contrary to the video, Ken Kempster, who was drumming for us for 2.5 years, a big thanks to him as well. I mean, Mikey Hansen, kudos to Mikey, but it was Kenny that drummed for us for a couple of years in the 90s. And when we got to Europe, I have to say a shout out to the Conquerants, who brought us over there for the first time and introduced us to a whole new audience, and who were very receptive. And we still work with the same people over there we have for the last 20-25 years. Kleistowitz, Dolph, Hermanstetter, and Bertrand at Lo-Fi Merchandising. And most recently, of course, in the NoMeansNo family, we have to have a shout out and a big thanks to John Chedsey for running our website, and Keith Rose for just being Keith Rose. So anyway, thanks to all of you, and thanks to Breakout West.